22 cars on the grid. We're under starters orders for the grand final. And that's it, they've got the green and the race is on. Gary Walker leads the charge in 1A1 as they head off for the first turn. We've lost Wilf Warnes on the turnstile bend next in 91. Bill Smith lost some ground down there in 109, and so did Andy Hodgson in 272. Warnes trying to get himself sorted out to get into the action. We've lost one down on the pit gate. Looks like Russ Humphrey 113 has gone in down there. And they're all safely away into the race, although Warnes and Humphrey are back markers now, with Gary Walker the leader in 181 from Mel Brown 34 and Phil Wilton in number 6. Wally Pittam is sideways on that pit turn where Dave Beresford and John Lund have tangled out. Beresford and Lund together, centre track. And the leading group now bearing down on them with Gary Walker first in 181, Mel Brown second, 34. Phil Wilton on the inside in number 6, pushes through as Mike Hayward spins onto the infield in 424. And the leaders are on the turnstile bend with Phil Wilton trying to go through on the inside of Gary Walker, and Wilton does. So it's Wilton the leader in number 6. From Mel Brown 34 and Gary Walker 181. Richard Mason's 4 and Les Spencer 5. Mike Hayward 6 and Peter Faulding through into the top 8 in 33. Trying to stay with him is number 2, Paul Harrison. Mark Duxbury's just in front of them, and Bert Finnikin in the top 10 in 55. That is Phil Wilton who leads the way in car number 6 from 34, Mel Brown, and 202, Richard Mason. That's the top 3 on the back straight with Les Spencer 4th, right in behind Mason and about to connect on the bumper. Mason is sent to the fence on the turnstile bend, and Les Spencer goes 3rd in 98. Phil Smith has spun up on the pit bend in 109 as the leaders go by around that turn. And Les Spencer's cooked it in 98. Mel Brown's lost some ground as well in 34. And they've left Phil Wilton clear in number 6 from Richard Mason in 202. Andy Hodgson slowing down on the pit bend in 272. Could well be a flat tyre on that one. Wilton leads in 6. Mason second in 202 and Faulding 3rd in 33. Behind the top 3 it's Mel Brown 4, Mark Duxbury 5, Paul Harrison 6, Les Spencer 7 and Bert Finnikin 8. And there's Phil Wilton through again. Richard Mason holding second, but under pressure from Peter Faulding. Bert Finnikin's lost some ground. He's tangled out with Mark Duxbury. That was coming off the turnstile bend. They're both back on the track down towards the pit turn. And the battle on for the lead as Wally Pittam slows down leader Phil Wilton, and Richard Mason goes by on the inside in 202. Peter Faulding is second and Phil Wilton 3rd as they head on into the back straight. Mason and Faulding are battling it out up front as they go to the turnstile bend. 202, 33 and number 6, and then behind them it's number 2, Paul Harrison, getting some bumper treatment from 34, Mel Brown. It will be halfway next time. And the leaders are down on the pit turn. And Faulding has inched his way past Mason. Wilf Warnes and Jeff Nichols are side by side down on the back straight. Then as we go to the halfway, it's Peter Faulding the leader and under pressure from Richard Mason. At the halfway they go through. 33 is first and 202 second with Phil Wilton in number 6 third. 4th is number 2, Paul Harrison. Behind them it's 34, Mel Brown, and 98, Les Spencer. Next in line it's looking out to 55, Bert Finnikin, at 53, John Lund, and then Mark Duxbury and Dave Beresford. And you can rule out the rest of them as Faulding comes through again with Mason still fighting hard behind him in 202. Phil Wilton is running 3rd. And other than back marker Mark Webster, there's a lot of clear track in front of Peter Faulding. Mason drops some ground on that lap. And Faulding is clear of the field. London Finnikin are way back in the pack and trying to shake off some back markers. And 33, Peter Faulding has a clear advantage. He's on his way down the back straight again from Richard Mason in 202. Behind Mason, it's Paul Harrison in number 2, and then Phil Wilton in number 6, and then Les Spencer and Mel Brown. Faulding goes into the back straight in 33, and he's gone clear. Mason still working hard and holding second. Paul Harrison getting closer to him is 3rd. Phil Wilton on his own is 4th. Then Les Spencer and Mel Brown 5th and 6th. Behind them Bert Finnikin 7 and John Lund 8 and Dave Beresford 9. and Beresford and London having a little set too down the field. They've got just 5 to run next time. And Folding is down towards the turnstile bend. He's now in amongst the back markers and needs to keep clear of trouble as he comes through with 5 to run. Mason on his own down on track in second place in 2:02, with Paul Harrison trying to catch him from third in number 2. And Folding has negotiated those back markers successfully. A quarter of a lap of clear track looms in front of him as he comes through with 4 to run. Mason holding second place with Paul Harrison third and Phil Wilton 4. Behind them Les Spencer and then Bert Finnikin and Mal Brown and John Lund and then Dave Beresford and Mark Duxbury. And they're about the only ones left on the lead lap. Folding taking it quite steady now in the closing stages in the 33 car. He's on the back straight as Mark Webster spins on the pit turn in 2:26. He wasn't in the leading group at the time. And there's Folding going through on the home straight and down towards the pit turn in 33. Clear from 2:02, Richard Mason and number 2, Paul Harrison. And other than back marker Mike Haywood in 4:24, the top 3 have half a lap of the track to themselves. The other battle's going on the other half of the track. Folding's on his last and down to the pit turn in 33. Oh, and a big shunt down the back straight as Bert Finnikin rolls away down there. Something had to give with those battle for the minor places, and Finnikin rolls away onto the infield. He's back on 4 wheels. Dave Beresford's lost some ground, and the checkered goes out on the home straight for 33, Peter Folding. Richard Mason takes second in 2:02. Third man home is Paul Harrison in number 2. And then it's going to be the minor place drivers with Les Spencer 4 and John Lund 5. And it could well be Mark Duxbury 6, and then in behind them Dave Beresford. And another shunt develops down on the turnstile bend, and that's it, Miss Starter Reds, please. National heat. There's been Folding smiling as he has his photograph taken with the trophy down on the start-finish line. The winner of tonight's grand final, and shortly to come round for your appreciation all around Scunthorpe Raceway from Rotherham, South Yorks. The grand final winner tonight, 33, Peter Folding.